Today is chapter 3 of Artho economics. Today we're talking about dictators and bullies who are the world's usual natural-born cowards, whose high treason fleeces the flock, burns the nation to the ground, and have no problem whatsoever watching women and children and the elderly starve to death. Dictators prearrange the fleeced assets to stimulate another nation's economy, the other nation that prefer blood money, and have no problem with inflicting their nation with a known economic high treason traitor against their nation. Dictators prearrange their usually fake death with doubles. They prearrange transportation out of their burnt down nation and into hiding in the nation that rat hole their unsustainable short-term ill-gotten gains. Now, history reflects and current events confirm the dictator's usual history over and over again. Dictators talk about leading their tax-paying commoners into battle for the dictator's self-justified economic treason, but seldom do. After all, dictators are the world's natural-born cowards. Oh, they'll visit behind the enemy lines, visit the wounded behind the enemy lines, film the usual propaganda, make the usual public appearances after the tax-paying commoners served, fought, and died for yet another dictator's negative cash flow and wars in humanity to rape, murder, and plunder assets from another nation to temporarily prop up their economy, which was never going to cash flow in the first place, because quite frankly, these people never cash flowed a business in their entire life. So why would they start now? Now, if the dictator failed to read the writing on the wall, failed to resign, or failed to run to the other nation's hideout in time, the dictator's usually captured in his underground bunkers or the elite government officials' lair, or their fittingly so-called rat hole. Now, what did you think was going to happen? In the aftermath of the absolute powerful war profiteers' economic high treason of these unsustainable short-term ill-gotten gains, of wars' inhumanity inflicted by their politicians' prior negative cash flow choices, and the negative cash flow by corruption and discrimination against others. Now, to start a war, or to genocide your own people, or for whatever irrelevant excuse you have to rape, murder, and plunder another nation's assets, or even within your own, this just keeps happening over and over again. Now, when it comes to the post-wars inhumanity court of law procedures that create, inflict, and allow the following. Now, after the war, if the absolute powerful, egotistical, pathological, lying dictator is not assassinated, committed suicide, or faked their own death, they're either hung, imprisoned, exiled, deported, or even ever so slightly slapped on the wrist. Some witnesses, jurors, and judges are paid off, as usual. The post-war courts usually clear the name of the absolute powerful and their war profiteers' economic high treason of the usual sustainable short-term ill-gotten gains. For the next so-called honorable wars in humanity in a violent world choosing to repeat a violent world's wars of inhumanity over and over again. We don't have to live like this. We can choose otherwise. Even thousands a year, Confucius, and I quote, Confucius, To be wealthy and honored in an unjust society is a disgrace. A great prophet advised paid and employed public servants to be content with their pay. Even the self-anointed obese dictators wear the finest clothing, live in the best housing, and are protected from the tax-paying commoners with personal bodyguards. Fortunately, accountability is essential to mankind's prosperity. We, the tax-paying commoners, pay and employ public servants to do their job, to uphold the Constitution, the rule of law, and their very own constitutional oath of office and our profession. Under the tax-paying commoners funded peacetime accountability of corruption's like-kind retribution and payment in kind to be collected as debt of funding, fines, and retribution owed to the nation's treasury and by rule of law owed to the victims thereof. Now this payment in kind is funding for a frugal government to mind their own business and govern within a nation's means to stop the needless wars because you didn't govern within your means and couldn't cash flow in the first place. Now it's when your government's economic treason fails to do so, your economy will fail. It will collapse. And yet again, what did you think was going to happen?